Hi guys, and welcome to The Big Shift with me, Stephen Gillen. We're going to deep dive and give you the most raw entertainment and content, the latest current issues and transformational stories in business, entrepreneurship, crime and entertainment. The Big Shift, where everything is possible. Hi guys, welcome back to The Big Shift. Today we've got another fascinating life journey of a confirmed mob killer. He's got an unbelievable tale to tell. His name is Anthony Arillotta. Anthony, thanks for coming on The Big Shift.
It's great to be here.
Look, you know, I come from an Irish background with a little Italian. I get the family thing, right? The passionate family thing, right? Let's just cover it really, really quickly. The union.
Yeah.
What happened there with that? You know, it was attempted murder. You pleaded guilty to that.
I did.
And
the union
right?
guy, I did, yeah. I pled
yeah,
guilty
so
to
what?
He was a union guy. There was a beef with him and Artie and the Lucchese family over this guy, this union guy. And I don't know the exact, I know there was a union beef that, you know, this guy belonged with us and the Lucchese family was getting involved somehow. And then there was some type of disrespect that he showed Artie about, because Artie and this guy were friends, but he showed Artie some disrespect and somehow, so this was back in spring of '03. And that's when I started to get really noticed by the New York bosses in New York, you know, by them coming up and seeing what I had. You know, I had all kinds of legitimate businesses and all kinds of street stuff. I had a large crew and I started getting noticed by the bosses. So there was a couple of guys that were supposed to get made in my area. And, but when these guys kept seeing, you know, coming up and seeing that, you know, I had everything going and they wanted me to get made also with them. So when this union beef came up, Artie wanted me to do a piece of work. He wanted me to have these other two guys come with me to do this piece of work that were proposed members in my area. And what was going to happen, they would have made the three of us. But these two guys in my area didn't want to go on the piece of work with me. When I mean a piece of work, to go kill this guy. So I had to get my other two friends who are Greek, Freddie and his brother Ty. And, you know, we've done so many things together, the three of us, that, you know, asking them to come kill somebody with me is like nothing for them. The reason I bring them in the beginning was because they were Greek and couldn't get made. And Artie wanted me to use these other two guys. Otherwise, I would have just brought them right from the beginning. So we end up having to plan it out. You know, the first night we go to the Bronx and sure enough, the guy comes out right at 6 o'clock to go to work. And, but we didn't have no guns with us or nothing, but we just went down to set it up. So the next night, you know, we went down. It's about a little over 2-hour ride to get there. We got to drive we had guns with silencers. So we had to, you know, take a chance of driving in New York. And we had to leave in the early middle of the night, say 2:30 in the morning. So we had to drive on the highway. If we get pulled over with the silencers, we're going to get a lot of time with our records. We're all career criminals with, you know, a lot of prison years in us and all kinds of bad things on our record. So we had to go down there. We set up the second time and he doesn't come out. So we had to go all the way back to Mass. And this time I sent Freddie down ahead of time with the guns to get a hotel room. And I went down the next day with his brother. We picked up Freddie. We went to the spot. We waited, you know, for the guy to come out. When the guy came out, Freddie was the driver. Me and Ty came up and the guy was getting in his car as we approached the car, and we just started shooting at him through through the car. And when, you know, you could see that, I remember Freddie pulling up, picking us up and looking over and saying, oh yeah, you know, he's dead. You know, called up the next day to talk to the guy, John, and he said that the guy was still alive. He was shot 9 times, but he's not expected to make it. So that hit right there is the reason why I got made into the Genovese family. I got made shortly after that. Like that hit, I think, was in May. and I got inducted in August of '03.
Because of that, yeah, because
Yeah.
of that work. Look, you know, in New York, there's a lot of guys. I mean, I've talked to a few of them. Michael Franzese, you know, I'll just put some names down. Did you ever come across Michael Franzese in the old days, Anthony?
His father, I did. I came across his father due to there was a strip club we were shaking down in New York, the Hustler nightclub, Hustler strip club, and guys in Connecticut owned it. But long story short, we went in there shaking them down for $12,000 a week. We had Genovese guys go down there in the city. We came in and this part of it, and it ended up flushing out that Sonny, Michael's father, was behind them, but wasn't saying, you know, it had something to do with the club. And it wasn't until that we threatened him with violence and everything that he surfaced. And
they pulled that.
But yeah, I never met Michael or anything like that. It was before my time, Michael.
Yeah.
And Sonny, I'm just saying, but Sonny happened to be part of that club.
Yeah, no, that's a fascinating story. Sammy the Bull Gravano. There's a lot about Sammy at the moment. You know, I know you know John Alite. You know,
Yeah.
we'll cover John as well a little bit. But in them days, did you ever come across within the Gambino family, Sammy or even John Senior or John Junior?
Sammy, I never met. I know a lot of stories about him. We were in these units, and a lot of guys that he was with, I was with. So, you know, just stories like that. But I never met Sammy. I met guys in Sammy's crew in the early 2000s that were part of his crew that was around him. This guy Tommy and this guy Primo. I don't think Primo was with him, but the guy Tommy was. And I think they were actually the ones that were given the contract when they were going to kill him in Arizona, when they were going down there. I think that the guy, I'm not even sure, but I believe Tommy was involved with Primo. But yeah, I never met Sammy. I met a lot of Gambino guys. Like you said, A-Light, Johnny A-Light, I knew from the 90s, did stuff with him. Gotti Sr., I never met. And Junior Gotti, I never met.
We can cover this quickly. It's a good question. It's a relevant question. You're from another family at that time. You're a made guy. You know, I mean, a lot of people would say with the historic events of John Gotti Sr., really, you know, with the press and, you know, the Teflon thing and all that, that really, everyone says that was the beginning of the end, right? Flaunting it and all that stuff. You know, and after that, things certainly changed, right? You know, within the five families and the way business was done and all this. What's your view on that, Anthony?
I think Gotti, you know, I used to listen. Growing up, that's what got me into the life. You know, I got arrested when I was 17 for my uncle was bringing kilos of coke back from Florida, and we got arrested in the state of Maryland. And at that same time, you know, Castellano got killed, and it was, you know, a big murder. I mean, you know, probably one of the most notorious murders in the mafia. And so that, you know, I kind of like looked up to Gotti, you know, as like a young kid, you know, he killed his boss and, you know, as a young kid, I mean, you're Italian, you know, that's what you aspire to be is in the mafia, you know, and then you got this guy who just didn't give a, not, you know, he didn't care. He, you know, killed his boss and he's confident and he's, they were doing a lot of stories on him. So as a young kid, you look up to that, but as it's
an adult.
A mafia, you know, like a guy looking at that, you know, he didn't do like, they should have not put him there as far as, because he had all the heat. They should have put him there as a figurehead, you know, let the guy Frank DeChico or someone else be boss, let him be a figurehead, let him take all the heat, the you know, let the press follow him, let them do whatever they want, because it was just too much heat. I know, because when when Bruno got killed in my area, I couldn't do nothing. I had so much heat on me that, you know, everywhere you went, you know, you're under 24/7 surveillance. So you can imagine the surveillance that Gotti had on him, you know, going around. And for him to have meetings and having guys show up at the Ravenite there and meet him, I mean, that, you know, I get what he's doing. He was like trying to say, fuck you to the government. You know, we're not running anywhere, you know, and I get that, but you're not going to win with them and you're going to sacrifice everybody. So to me, I mean, I don't think he was the cause. The feds were there already. I mean, they did the commission case. They were doing that RICO. They were locking up everybody all over the country. So it wasn't Gotti's fault that, you know, he added to it. You know, he was just he ruined himself and he ruined his guys around him by making him show up and knowing that the heat was on, that he was, you figure he would be a lot more smarter and more low key and, try to meet guys in the middle of the night.
Understated. Fascinating, Anthony, really, just to get different approaches to this. Another good question. This thing between John and Sammy the Bull, everyone's saying, Sammy says, this guy was straight with me. He didn't play by the rules, so I don't give a shit. This is what I done. What's your view on that?
My feeling is that he was laying the groundwork to clip Sammy. And I think, you could see a lot of the tapes that I've heard when the businesses were opening up. You could see a lot of bosses, they got, especially when they got big egos, they see the guys under them. And the guys under them sometimes, what happened in Philly with Nicky Scarpo and Testa, that kid Testa, they get a little insecure about a guy. And, you had this guy, they just killed the boss. Sammy's got all these businesses going on. And you could see Gotti say in one of the tapes, you got all these businesses. Where am I in all these businesses? And you could see a little jealousy and a little insecurity building up in them with, these bosses think like this guy wants my spot maybe. And, but yeah, that's my thing. I think, I just think that he put a lot of heat when he got into that position.
Thanks, guys, for listening in on another gripping edition of The Big Shift with me, Stephen Gillen. We really look to inspire and really help and support our audiences in business and entrepreneurship out there. Stay tuned for much more great content and many other benefits. Have a look in the bio below. Follow me there, guys, for a lot more other great things that will be coming to support you on your wonderful journey.